On April 26, 2010, a 9-year-old Russian girl named Natalia Grace was adopted by a couple and welcomed into their family of 5. Little did they know their life would never be the same again. A brand new documentary titled The Curious Case of Natalia Grace was released in May 2023, covering the sufferings of the family. Michael Barnett, the father, opens up about their harrowing experience of adopting a Ukrainian woman who was pretending to be 9-year-old Natalia Grace, claiming that their adopted daughter is an adult psychopath masquerading as a child. Michael sobs uncontrollably and pounds the floor in frustration, declaring that they were all victims of abuse. The question of whether Grace is a teenager or a 30-year-old woman has baffled the world for years now. How it all started. Michael Barnett and his wife Christine had 3 sons named Jacob, Wesley, and Ethan Barnett. Before 2010, they were a happy family residing in a huge house in Westfield, Indiana, with a comfortable 6-figure sum in their bank account. At first, Michael and Christine had set their sights on adopting a child from Haiti, but then their plans took an unexpected turn when the catastrophic earthquake struck the nation, leading to the suspension of the adoption process. The Barnetts were undeterred, and so they set their hearts on another child. On April 26, 2010, they welcomed Natalia Grace into their family through adoption. According to Michael, Natalia's Ukrainian birth certificate indicated that she was born on September 4, 2003. They were informed that she had a rare form of dwarfism, known as spondyloepiphasial dysplasia congenita. Not even a day had passed after the adoption, and things were already going wrong. Christine went to give Natalia a bath, but she was shocked and let out a scream when she discovered that the young girl had full-grown pubic hair. Seeking answers, Michael turned to online resources to investigate whether it was even possible for a girl as young as Natalia to have such development. His research showed that pubic hair could potentially appear in girls as early as 8 years old. Despite this revelation, Michael and Christine firmly believed that Natalia was a child and in need of love and compassion, and her age discrepancy wasn't an issue. But then, a few months after the adoption, Natalia confided in the Barnetts, revealing that she had been having menstrual periods and had been discreetly disposing of any evidence. Christine was distressed upon finding stained socks that Natalia had used as makeshift sanitary pads before discarding them out of the window. What's more, the Barnetts found period underwear tucked away in her room regularly in the first few months after her adoption. But they still wanted to believe that Grace was a child, like any other child. So they arranged a play date between Natalia and Alvaraya's daughter, Teresa. Teresa shared the same rare form of dwarfism as Natalia and was 14 years old at the time. Looking back at the photos taken in 2010, it was evident that Teresa and Natalia were not of the same age, further emphasizing the age discrepancy surrounding Natalia's adoption. Overwhelmed by the hints, Christine found herself concerned, and she tried to find out Natalia's true age, but things were only starting to get concerning. Grace's troublesome behavior began. According to Michael and his son Jake, who is now 24 years old and lives with his father, Natalia's strange actions came out in a lot of different ways. There were incidents where Natalia would urinate and defecate during car rides, try to exit the car while it was in motion, and even throw her brother's toys onto the street. Michael also discovered that Natalia had been taking knives from the kitchen and concealing them in her room. Christine and her son Wesley visited a former neighbor named Rachel Ambler and informed her about the knives, after which Rachel informed her own daughter that she could no longer play with Natalia. In their quest for answers and guidance, the Barnetts sought the help of multiple therapists. Michael was expecting the diagnosis of a severe mental disorder that could shed light on Natalia's behavior. But everyone was left surprised when one of the specialists they consulted characterized their adopted daughter as a psychopath. This diagnosis implied that Natalia was fully aware of her actions and had complete control over them. The therapist told the family that they were all in extreme danger, cautioning Michael and Christine to be careful. By that point, they already knew about the threat Natalia posed to their entire family. But despite the disturbing nature of Natalia's actions, the Barnetts never thought about returning her. They convinced themselves that with their unwavering support and therapeutic intervention, they could make a positive impact on her life. Then came a day when Natalia supposedly poured cleaning fluid into Christine's coffee and explicitly said that she was attempting to poison her, but the Barnetts were still committed to helping her. The incident traumatized the kids deeply, and Jake confessed that to this day, he can't drink anything that's been left out of sight. Natalia, on the other hand, denied putting cleaner into the cup or attempting to poison Christine. But this wasn't the only time Christine's life was put into danger by Natalia. The birthday incident. The Barnetts visited Traders Point Creamery to celebrate their son's birthday, which was a functioning dairy farm that let visitors milk cows. During their time there, Natalia had a mischievous expression in her eyes, especially when the staff warned them about the presence of a potentially dangerous electric fence on the premises. According to Michael, Natalia tried to pull Christine towards the fence, which started a commotion as onlookers rushed to the scene of the struggle. He described Natalia flailing about during the incident, but two Traders Point Creamery employees who were interviewed later remembered the situation differently. One recalled that Natalia, as a little person, seemed calm and rational, while Christine was exaggerating the situation. A video recording from a 2019 forensic interview showed Natalia recounting the events of that day to a prosecution investigator, and she explained that her feet were hurting, and when she sat down, Christine tried to pull her up, causing Christine to fall close to the fence. Natalia emphasized that she didn't want to harm her mother. But regardless of the differing perspectives, an ambulance was called to the dairy farm that day, and Natalia was admitted to LaRue Carter, the Indiana State Mental Hospital, for a comprehensive psychological evaluation. Anonymous hospital employees revealed that Natalia was transferred to the adult wing after they noticed the presence of pubic hair while administering a sedative injection in her buttocks. Once surrounded by adult male patients, as described by the staff members, Natalia was constantly flirting with them. Several weeks later, Michael got a call telling him and Christine that they needed to take Natalia back from the hospital because of her disruptive behavior stemming from her sexual advances. Upon returning home, Christine gave a stern warning to Natalia. Unless she started telling the truth, she would be forced to sleep outside. In response, Natalia was locked out of the house. While Michael felt remorseful about leaving her outside throughout the entire night, Natalia remained outdoors long enough for a concerned neighbor to spot her and alert child services to the situation. Natalia stays put. It's worth noting that Natalia herself, in interviews and court testimonies, has consistently maintained that she was indeed a young girl when the Barnetts adopted her, refuting any claims of threats or harm towards the family. During the series, Judith Irving, a prospective adoptive mother from Clinton, Indiana, shares her own emotional journey. She recalls falling in love with Natalia's photo, envisioning her as the daughter she had always longed for. Unfortunately, her husband hesitated when faced with the $25,000 legal fees requested by Natalia's previous adoptive parents. Despite this setback, Judith's love for Natalia is still there. Christine reached out to Judith through social media and expressed concerns that Natalia posed a threat to their family. But Judith wasn't worried, drawing on her experience as a teacher who has encountered troubled children in the past. She believed that what Natalia truly needed was support and assistance. Dwayne and Robin Ferris, a couple from Austin who also considered adopting Natalia before the Barnetts, shared their own reservations. As individuals with forms of dwarfism, they were very suspicious. But when Natalia's former adoptive parents requested reimbursement for previous medical expenses related to the child, Dwayne and Robin knew that something was up. Even then, they traveled all the way to New Hampshire to meet Natalia in person. It was during this encounter that they sensed something was amiss, unable to pinpoint whether the unsettling feeling stemmed from the situation itself or from Natalia's behavior. The legal procedure. In 2012, 2 years after the adoption, Michael and Christine went on a legal process to change Natalia's official birth date from 2003 to 1989 through a petition submitted to the Marion County Probate Court. The alteration would make her 20 years old at the time of their adoption. Their petition was approved by the court, resulting in the modification of Natalia's birth certificate. 1 year later, the Barnetts relocated to Ontario, Canada, mostly to facilitate the educational pursuits of their son Jake, who, at the age of 15, was already gaining recognition as a child prodigy. Jake's remarkable abilities were showcased in a profile featured on the television program 60 Minutes in 2012, and his story was further detailed in Christine's book titled The Spark, A Mother's Story of Nurturing Genius and Autism, published in 2014. Meanwhile, Natalia remained behind in a rented apartment in Lafayette, Indiana. According to Michael, the area surrounding her apartment boasted a range of convenient amenities, including a nearby Salvation Army, a grocery store that accepted food stamps, and a learning center where Natalia was purportedly pursuing her general educational development certificate. Michael claimed to have continued paying the rent and bills for Natalia's accommodation, as she revealed during an interview on the Dr. Phil show. But Natalia had left a permanent mark on the Barnett family. In 2014, Michael initiated divorce proceedings against Christine, marking the end of their nearly 2-decade-long marriage. The divorce was eventually finalized in 2018, but the case was nowhere near over. The re-aging was a sinister act. Legal experts shed light on why the controversial re-aging of Natalia Grace Barnett in court would have provided an opportunity for her adoptive parents to free themselves from their responsibilities. Beth Karras, a former prosecutor, expressed her concerns about the case, stating that something seemed amiss. Karras pointed out that Natalia was never provided with legal representation during the proceedings, leaving her uninformed and raising doubts about the accuracy of the age determination. Karras also made an appearance in the documentary, where she suggested that Natalia's unsettling behavior might have motivated her adoptive parents, Michael and Christine Barnett, to employ any means necessary to rid themselves of her. She argued that obtaining a court ruling to re-age Natalia as an adult could have been a strategy for Michael and Christine to safeguard themselves against child neglect charges. In Karras's eyes, the process employed to determine Natalia's age in court should be closely examined due to the numerous unanswered questions surrounding the case. She revealed that Natalia had no knowledge of the proceedings and lacked legal representation or any advocate present on her behalf, leaving her completely in the dark. Karras criticized the one-sided nature of the case, suggesting that there might have been an ulterior motive behind Barnett's pursuit of the legal age change. She speculated that they viewed it as a way out of their predicament, considering that they genuinely believed Natalia was an adult and panicked over the complexities of the adoption situation. From a cynical perspective, one could argue that they were seeking to unload her. In the documentary, Michael admits that even after the re-aging process was completed, he remained uncertain about the judge's decision to declare Natalia as 22 years old. His comments indicated that from his perspective, as long as Natalia was considered an adult, their actions were lawful. Despite Michael and Christine Barnett avoiding a conviction on all neglect charges, Karras contended that the apartment they provided for Natalia was unsuitable for her needs. Due to her stature and disability related to her dwarfism, Natalia struggled with tasks such as climbing stairs and walking for extended periods. During a court appearance, Natalia testified that she primarily subsisted on peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, ramen noodles, and the occasional pizza. She also disclosed limited use of her hands and arms, making it difficult for her to open canned food. the investigators grew suspicious. Despite the adjusted birth certificate indicating Natalia's older age, investigators remained skeptical of the Barnetts' actions and launched an inquiry into potential neglect on their part. While Christine stated in an interview with the Daily Mail that a bone density test conducted after Natalia's adoption in 2010 indicated that she was 14 years old, the probable cause affidavit presented a different assessment. According to the affidavit, Dr. Riggs from Peyton Manning's Children's Hospital estimated in the same year that Natalia was approximately 8 years old. What's more, medical records from June 2012 indicated that a skeletal survey conducted at the same hospital concluded that Natalia was around 11 years old. In the affidavit, Michael Barnett confirmed to the police on September 5th of 2012 that the court had changed Natalia's birth year from 2003 to 1989. He also revealed that Christine instructed Natalia to inform others that she was actually 22 years old. Michael confessed to the police that he and Christine were aware of the doctor's determination at Peyton Manning's Children's Hospital that Natalia was a child. The affidavit further claimed that Michael believed Natalia was a minor when the family relocated to Canada and left her in Lafayette. But Michael's lawyer, Terence Kennard, contested these specific details. Kennard provided a different account, stating that Michael never said he knew Natalia was a child. He argued that the affidavit selectively cited certain medical reports, implying that it may not present the complete picture. The Barnetts were charged. In 2019, both Michael and Christine were charged in Tippecanoe County, Indiana, with several counts related to neglecting a dependent, including neglect causing bodily injury and serious bodily injury, endangering a dependent's life, as well as charges of abandonment and cruel confinement. Additionally, they were accused of conspiring to neglect a dependent. Both Michael and Christine pleaded not guilty to the charges. In February 2022, a judge dismissed several charges against Michael, but he still faces trial in October on 3 counts of neglect and 1 count of conspiracy to neglect a dependent. Natalia, who was legally bound to state her birth date as 1989 during her testimony, asserted that she couldn't care for herself when Michael and Christine relocated, stating that they left her in a second-story apartment with challenging stairs that she struggled to navigate, and she lacked proficiency in cooking or operating most household appliances. Natalia expressed her wish to live with the Barnetts, emphasizing her preference for their care and presence. The defense sought to counter Natalia's claims by presenting video evidence of her independently navigating activities, such as grocery shopping and crossing the street. After just a few hours of deliberation, the jury found Michael not guilty. Initially, Michael was subpoenaed to testify against Christine, but in March 2022, the prosecution dropped their case against her. The trial proceedings for Christine had been scheduled to commence in April. When asked for comment, Tippecanoe County Prosecutor Patrick Harrington referred to the language in his motivation to dismiss, stating that the state believed there was insufficient evidence to prove the charges beyond a reasonable doubt. Mark Nicholson, Christine's attorney, expressed his client's belief and disbelief that the case had finally concluded, asserting that the charges should never have been brought forward in the first place. What Natalia has to say. Natalia strongly denies the allegations made by Michael and Christine, refuting their claims that she was a deceitful imposter posing as a child and that she posed a danger to others. She persisted in the fact that she is 16 years old, as stated by the Ukrainian birth certificate. During her appearance on the Dr. Phil show in November 2019, Natalia firmly said that the accusations against her were completely false. She expressed her desire for people to listen to her side of the story, asserting her innocence. Natalia specifically denied the accusations of hiding knives in her room, attempting to poison Christine, or trying to push her into an electric fence. Regarding the footage that appeared to show her running errands independently, she claimed to the host that she had not actually gone grocery shopping. According to Natalia, her landlord had taken her to a nearby gas station to pick up a few items, emphasizing that the Barnetts had previously provided her with canned food and other supplies. Reflecting on the Barnetts' decision to move to Canada, Natalia admitted her initial confusion and lack of understanding about the situation. She claimed that she did not know what to say or comprehend what was happening when they informed her about their relocation. During her appearance on the Dr. Phil show, Natalia was accompanied by Cynthia and Antoine Mans, who had been her legal guardians since 2016. They shared their perspective, describing Natalia as a genuine and loving girl. The Mans explained that they had become involved in Natalia's life after a neighbor who was in contact with Natalia in Lafayette alerted them to her circumstances. This concerned neighbor revealed that Natalia was living alone, claiming to be 22 years old, even though her behavior indicated otherwise. In the documentary, Natalia continues to assert her innocence, labeling the claims made by Christine and Michael as lies. She expresses frustration and shock at the statements made against her, emphasizing that she wants to discover her true identity and what happened to her. Natalia finds it disheartening that people are believing Christine and Michael's version of events without considering her perspective. She highlights the importance of hearing both sides of the story and mentions that Cynthia and Antoine can provide insights into her true character. How old is Natalia Grace in reality? The question of Natalia's true age remains a mystery, as adoption cases in Indiana are sealed by the courts, making documents related to her age unavailable to the public. As of now, Natalia lives with the Mans family in Indiana. Initially, Natalia felt loved and happy when she was first adopted by the Barnetts. She believed that she had finally found the right family after going through multiple placements. However, things took a turn for the worse after Natalia underwent surgery related to her dwarfism, which led Christine Barnett to question her age. According to Natalia, this marked a significant shift in their relationship. The Mans, who have been Natalia's parents for the past 6 years, also disputed Christine's claims that Natalia does not menstruate. They supported Natalia's statements during the interview. LaDonna Elaine Sorensen, the family attorney appointed as the guardian during the Mans petition for legal guardianship in 2016, confirmed that she had to become involved in the separate case involving Natalia's age. At the time, Sorensen formed the impression that Natalia was likely a teenager in her mid-teens. Although Mans withdrew their guardianship petition in early 2018, photos on Facebook suggest that Natalia remains a part of their lives. A letter dated October 24, 2016, from Michael's primary care doctor stated that the birth year on Natalia's Ukrainian birth certificate was clearly inaccurate. The letter further alleged that Natalia had consistently deceived others about her age and perpetuated a false facade. James Metzger, the attorney who represented Michael in the case involving Natalia's age, expressed his belief that she was not a child based on the evidence. Metzger stated that she was certainly older than 18 years old, but did not provide additional information due to the confidentiality of the case. While everybody has heard the perspectives of the Barnetts and the prosecutors, Natalia has remained silent. She continues to be a fascinating figure, with her true age being either 30 or 16 years old at this time. How old do you think Natalia Grace was? Let us know in the comments below, and if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time on Bad Badger.